and can run and play out in the open floor, we're better, of course. We've got to find ways to, even when we're not, first off, we need to get more stops, period. But even when the ball goes through the hoop, we need to still find ways to generate the same type of pace and tempo and keep the ball moving from side to side. I think in the third quarter there, you're taking the ball out of the hoop a lot, and then he just kind of slows you down. Things get sticky. Now they can load up and execute their defensive coverages a little better. So that's our growth area. But offensively, yeah, I mean, when you hold teams under 20 for 2 quarters in a row and you get stops and you run, then the offense feels better. So we've got to put 4 quarters together.
Yeah. What do you think it is about the third quarter that's just kind of been that Achilles heel for the team?
I wish I had an answer. You know, is it my halftime speeches? Maybe. I've got to be better there. But we've just got to be better. We've just got to sustain. We've got to find a way to sustain. And I've been talking about it, right? It's a discipline and it's a consistency for 40 minutes.
Great.
Felt like Paige wasn't as involved in the second half as we're kind of used to seeing her down the stretch. What would you just attribute that to?
Well, I think they were aggressive with her at the point of attack, you know, so they're gonna challenge other people to beat you, right? When you can bring 2 people to her, it's let's get her off the ball and make other people have to beat you. Then you can put her off the ball and try to get her on the move. Citron, top blocking and just being really physical. It makes it really hard for her to get touches. You try to make her a screener. And then 2, you know, when she's playing with Grace, it allows her to be off the ball earlier and work to get early touches off. And then when Grace is off the floor and JJ's not on the floor, now she has the ball in her hands initially, so she's working more to get it up the floor. There's lots of factors that go into it. But credit to Paige that she is just going to continue to fight, continue to keep moving and do whatever she has to do to help the team win, even if it's not getting as many shots as we'd like her to get.
So pre-game, Aisha said that you deserve a lot of grace, it being your first year. I was just wondering, what are some of the challenges maybe that you've had to overcome being a first-year head coach?
Yeah, I'm about this every night. I don't take it for granted. And with that being said, I think there is, you know, you need to take a step back at times and understand what this organization decided to do in a lot of its moves, including this move right here of potential, right? Of, okay, yeah, he's never done this before, but there's a belief in his capacity. And it's not like to expect that to be, you know, skyrocketing right off the bat is, you know, yeah, there are high expectations and those have to be there. This is professional sports. But if you can take a step back and think, all right, are they learning and are they getting better? And it might not look like it on the floor, but are the seeds being planted behind the scenes in the locker room for something that will ultimately lead to a positive culture that will ultimately lead to a winning brand on the floor?
Washington had a pretty big advantage in points in the paint and then also points off turnovers. Just what were some of the things that they did well to accomplish that?
Yeah, I mean, that's what they do, right? They just pound the ball. They're relentless downhill, Kiki on the boards. And then I think us too, a lot of that was self-inflicted. Like, we had, how many layups did we miss in the first half? So that 10-point lead honestly should have been a close to 20-point lead. And then that's a different story in the second half. But even with that being said, you know, you can't give up 60 points in the second half and expect to win a game. But we're aggressive at the point of attack, disruptive, and just, they were who they were. That's who they are, right? They're a defensive presence consistently, and they attack the paint relentlessly.
Coach, Isaiah and JJ have shown flashes throughout the year. They've had big games. Both had 8 minutes today. What can you say about their development, and is it a scheme situation? What are you seeing from your 2 rookies outside of Paige?
Yep. Again, loving everything JJ and Isaiah have been doing, and we'll continue to find opportunities to get them on the floor to be able to showcase that. So there's the ultimate belief in the 2 of them. And in their impacts, whether that's starting or coming off the bench. And so just appreciate their commitment to our processes and showing up day in and day out.
So circling back for a second, your first coach like all over, including 2 years in the Big 5 at St. Joe's. How did that experience kind of shape you as a coach?
In the Big 5?
Yeah.
I love it. Philly basketball, it's just an incredible tradition. So to be able to experience that for a couple years at St. Joe's, extremely grateful and lucky. It's just an awesome brand of basketball and some incredible coaches and history that comes out of there. So have a lot of pride for the Big Five, or is it Big Six now? I think they added Drexel, right?
They did, but still Big Five.
Yeah, lots of pride and learned a ton. Those were my really formative years there. And Philly is hard, tough nose, blue collar, like it just. So, that's the work ethic, that's the grit, that's the toughness and determination. So I take all that with me and try to embody that day in and day out with how I show up and how I put in my work for our staff and our players.
DJ on the Zoom.
Coach, this team has been competing hard all season, but I just wanted to know, there were two questions. How do you get this group to sustain sharp execution, especially going into the last month of the season, so you can turn these close efforts into big wins? And then I wanted to know what specifically adjustments on offense and defense are you prioritizing down the stretch?
Yeah, playing sharper. I think we can play harder. I think we have another level. I think we play hard in spurts, but I think we still let things affect us. We let officiating, we let plays impact us. And I know I'm painting a broad brush there, but I think we can play harder more consistently that way. And then as far as defensive schemes, we're trying a little bit of everything, and that's the balance. Do you get really good at one thing and have that as your identity? And this league is really good, so it's really hard to just do one thing over and over again. But as you're working with a young group and you're trying to practice, it makes it even harder now when you spread it across the board and you're trying to get them to understand multiple coverages and multiple schemes. So that's the balance of it. And now all of a sudden you're trying multiple things in a game and you're not very good at any of them. So that's where we sit down in these coaches meetings and we talk about it. And then ultimately you got to look at your personnel and, are they able to do this consistently? So that comes into play too. And so just challenging us from the top down to play harder and no matter what coverage we're in, to give more effort and know that it's not going to be perfect, but continue to just play for each other and scramble.
Rob on the Zoom.
Thank you. Rob Tiance in the podium finish. Coach, knowing how competitive you are as a leader and that this season's more of a marathon, not a sprint, how do you keep yourself even keeled and focused, especially guiding a team that's so young but has so much growth and potential ahead? And what are you learning about yourself as a leader that can help this team succeed beyond this season?
Yep. Never too high, never too low. I think it's good, right? They need that. They need an anchor as the season is just up and down and tumultuous, and there's just so much adversity. And when you're losing games, and then social media, regular media, narratives form. So to be able to be a steady anchor and try to get our attention on the right things. And I love the people in that locker room because they don't need as much help because they already are about the right things. And a lot of them are just extremely mature with their mental side of the game. But for me now, it's learning too, I think, just the type of leader that I've been, and now stepping into this leadership role, being challenged to step outside of character at times and when to hold people accountable in different ways, and when to discipline in different ways. So I'm learning different things, and everybody's different, right? So every player that you work with responds in different ways, and so it's all learning.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.